Hey everybody, welcome back to another movie review. Hope you guys are enjoying the content on the channel as of late. Excuse me if I seem tired. It is going on 11:30 and I have not had dinner yet. So excuse me if I seem a little delirious. I had food, don't worry. So it's not like I'm just, you know, that this review is going to be colored. I was fully awake and fully prepared when, viewing the film. But yeah, I need to eat. So I'm gonna try to make this review short, because similar to my review of Piece by Piece, I don't have much to say on this, except I mean, there's a little bit more, but not as much. So we'll try to make this review a little bit short, bite-sized, kind of in some ways in a good illustration of the film that I just watched as well. That film being Saturday Night, which was directed by Jason Reitman, who, of course, is a notable filmmaker, has done films such as Thank You for Smoking. I believe he did Up in the Air. I want to say he did Up in the Air. And, of course, the most recent work of his, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I was not too fond of. Um, this is, as the title suggests, a presentation of the origins of Saturday Night Live, and specifically the hour leading up to the live broadcast of the first episode by Lorne Michaels, who was the creator on the show, and a lot of other notable names who would run around during this would become a very chaotic and disorienting production with people such as Chevy Chase, George Carlin, notable faces here and there, or notable names, around set production. And it centralizes mainly on Lorne Michaels and his anxiety, or his needing to preserve control, and his drive, his motivation, and ultimately, as the film's thesis, or at least its observation of what it wishes to make a point on, is that about confidence, and that about ambition, and keeping up, keep pushing forward, regardless of what obstacles, literally in some respects by the film in certain sequences, is what literally is in front of you. Sometimes you just got to push right through and keep moving forward. And I think that, I mean, what is commended obviously about Saturday Night is the dude with the ensemble. I think that there are some very good good performances in there, specifically that of the actor who played Chevy Chase. I think he just did a really good job. And also the actor, believe it was Matthew Reyes, who played George Carlin. I thought he did a very convincing turn as George Carlin. Definitely has the manner and that cynic, edge that George Carlin is famous for. Um, and individually, performances that I just, and characters or celebrities I'm not completely aware to, just by performance alone, just what they're doing. People like Willem Dafoe, the guy who plays Lorne Michaels, like generally the ensemble that's there, they're all appearing to do good work. Um, and I think that some of the humor that is obviously going to be there lands. There's some good jokes there, some jokes that made me laugh, some jokes that just like kind of caught me off guard and I thought was genuinely funny. And outside of that, though, there is something to the filmmaking that I feel is counterproductive when it comes to presenting a chaotic production, which is that the film is, I think, too well organized for uh, for its own good, because the temperament of the film is fairly consistent, and that is, I think, a problem in constructing or illustrating that the anxiety in the room, because you pick up on the momentum quite quickly in that it goes and then calm, and then and then calm, and it just repeats those same motions, throughout its entire duration. Some of those sequences get stretched out a little bit longer, and then others get shorter. But the point is that those rhythms are the only rhythms that are to be discovered as the film progresses, and there's no other instruments that come into play. It's always the same drum. Drum, 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 no. Drum, 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 none. There's no other type of instrument. There's no like guitar. There's no this and that. And what I'm illustrating with this is that the film doesn't have a kind of this like concoction of like energy, or this like boiling of energy that is like mixing in with different elements, or mixing in with different like beats or what have you, to complement that of the of what they're trying to illustrate, which is this just this chaos going on in trying to get the episode on air. So I think that it's a little too well organized for, and it works against itself in that respect. So a lot of the anxiety that is being represented through the performances is one thing, but through the overall manner and the overall atmosphere that is built, the anxiety of the situation is rather absent. You understand that it's happening, but you don't feel that way when you're watching it. So a lot of the crucial feelings that the film is wishing to promote is rather absent because of just, as I've illustrated, just the manner of the filmmaking. It's just not complementary in the dissection or representation of its subjects. So um, I feel also that the characterizations, and it might just be just the people, how just with those types of people. I mean, Chevy Chase, we all know, is an asshole, but it's just, frankly, everyone in this film is rather toxic. A there isn't a variation. It's just a matter of who's the more toxic character of the group. It's not that there is, the nice people and then there's the jerks, or there's this and that. It just seems like everybody in this is just dickish, and it's just I don't I found that to be a bit repetitive and a bit just like, okay, I understand that these people are acting a certain way, but again, distinction, in a film, proper, there should be a distinction. And when everyone's just one and the same, it just feels rather redundant. And um, the speed of also its delivery in dialogue is, I mean, it's understandable given the circumstance, but it feels as though that it can ramble, and a lot of the jokes that are like everybody has to be joking around, which I feel is also a demonstration of my point of how everyone just kind of acts the same. In that everybody's toxic, but in that everyone also has to be funny. Everyone has to have a joke. And I get generally that, yes, it's SNL and that's the point. I mean, what do you expect? I get that. But it's to say that I wish that there were other people that just gave the that ensemble more color, and or just that group of characters more color, and not just everybody just cracking a joke here and there, everyone just being toxic towards each other, because that's basically what the group amounts to. And then there's this weird 180 where all of a sudden all the characters are now, you know finally collaborating and working together, because now they're at such a the time window has just gotten such smaller. So it's it's flawed. It's definitely not. I don't think that it is filmmaking wise complementary in terms of dissecting the situation. But there are performances there that make it worthwhile. A lot of the ensemble works very, very well, and again, some of the choices in humor is good, and I think by the utilization of the screenplay, I mean, I think I take issue with, but the dialogue itself, I can see is fair and it is well written. Um, so I mean, I can notice that. I just think that the issue comes with how the delivery of those lines, and just generally how that comes in terms of handling information to the viewer. Just kind of feels more like that, rather than, okay, now I can kind of, I can get what you're saying. I can get this. I get that. Um, so it's fair. It's fair. I wouldn't say that it's anything completely remarkable. A lot to do, like I said, with the filmmaking that is there. It's rather standard and rather consistent, and a little too clean. And I think in a situation like this that is all dirty, toxic, and all that stuff, and filthy, I think that the filmmaking should also, you know, be vibing and set energy to some extent. Um, but you know, so not relishing in it like Joker was, where Joker is just in generally a narcissistic film. I think that it should just dip its toes into that energy a little bit more, just so it gets a little bit more of just so that the promotion of those feelings is felt, the ideas of what they're wanting to get at. You, with the audience needing to get anxious and all these other feelings that the film wants to get out of you. In doing so, I think that it needs to also kind of rub off that energy of its own performances and other factors to really shape that emotion, really get that emotion out of the viewer. Because there's a distance, but thankfully there are performances and other elements there that make it a worthwhile investment, and just make something that is competent. But I wouldn't say that it's anything more than that. It's fair, but I think that the filmmaking is really the problem, and really what what kind of brings the film down a bit. So good performances, and generally just the interplay, all that the cast works well with each other. What isn't working and meeting in that nice middle ground is unfortunately Jason Reitman and the attitude of which the filmmaking is. It just needed more of that dirt, a little more of that just sass or whatever. And I feel that it would have benefited a lot more. So yeah, so those are my thoughts on Saturday Night. I thought it was fine. It's nothing that crazy, nothing too noteworthy, nothing too, um, nothing too just outstanding. It's fine. I think that mainly it's to do with the performances that keep it interesting, because a lot of the other elements just feel a bit standard, at least to me. But you guys, let me know your thoughts on Saturday Night if you guys have seen it, and of course your thoughts on, just SNL in general. So because the film is talking about SNL, SNL has just become so irrelevant. They're probably really happy that this film is out because it gets them a little bit more, a little more ratings, a little more notability. But because man, they've just not been relevant for years. But you guys, let me know your thoughts, all things SNL and this film specifically, in the comment section below. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in, and until then, I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye.